My trailer begins with two institutions that I chose to produce my film. These are the Warner Brothers and the New Line Cinema. By doing this, I've challenged the conventions of the trailers The Conjuring and Insidious 2, as these both don't begin with a shot of the institutions. The Conjuring begins with a shot of the family moving into a new home, and then the institutions come through. I felt that getting the institutions to appear first lets the audience concentrate more on the full trailer. However, Insidious 2 doesn't show the institutions until the end shot. I didn't follow this convention as I want my audience to notice the institutions as I've used so that they can recognise them and link the successfulness of their previous supernatural horror films and want to watch my film more. Both The Conjuring and Insidious 2's trailer follow the narrative convention of Todorow's theory. The theory starts with an equilibrium stage and consists of a disruption that is recognised, and then the attempt to repair stage begins. In my trailer, I have followed this narrative convention as my trailer starts with the equilibrium stage. This is indicated because I've used slow music, high key lighting, and I've used the location of a park to open my trailer. We then see a shot of my main characters laughing, which suggests that the situation is happy at the moment. This convention I have used is also used in The Conjuring, as the trailer starts with happy upbeat music and the shots of the mother and the children playing a game.
2, 3.
This is also followed in Insidious 2, which starts with slow, soft music as they show a shot of the mother looking out of the window at the father and the son playing and laughing. The disruption stage is shown when we see my main characters, Rosie, sleeping in bed. We then hear a bang and Rosie gets up to look in the bathroom. Rosie is dragged in the bathroom by something and can't get out. This shot is similar to the shot in Insidious 2 when the mother sees a ghost in the living room. Moreover, I also followed this convention similar to hide and seek when the father creeps into the bathroom to see if something's there. This stage connotes the disruption stage as it's the first thing the audience will see that suggests something supernatural has occurred. This stage is followed by the recognition stage, where I use dialogue to suggest that Rosie thinks that there's something wrong with her mother. By using dialogue, I followed this convention similar to Insidious 2, as this trailer also uses dialogue to indicate the recognition stage. However, this wasn't the case with The Conjuring, as they didn't use dialogue and instead showed it through the shot times. When it comes to the attempts to repair stage, both Insidious 2 and The Conjuring followed a convention of leaving the audience not knowing what the outcome was on a cliffhanger and whether they did fix the problem. I portrayed this by using a telephone conversation of the mother ringing the police to tell them that she is going to kill her daughter, with a high-angle end shot of Rosie at the bottom of the stairs. I followed this convention from the trailer The Devil Inside, as they also used a telephone conversation. However, I developed it and put mine at the end of the trailer instead of putting it at the start. When creating my trailer, I followed genre conventions similar to other supernatural horrors. These included semantic elements of the different props I use, such as the candles being blown out. This convention is developed from The Conjuring's trailer, where at the end we are shown the mother lighting a match to see. I use this because candles connote the supernatural genre as they give off little light, which creates a scarier atmosphere. Another semantic element I developed was the use of the mirror, which reads "die, die, die" on in blood. This convention is developed from the hide and seek trailer, where the father draws back the shower curtains and you see "you let her die" on the bath. I use this element as I believe it will indicate the genre to the audience, as in many supernatural films there is a ghost trying to get revenge on the characters. However, I feel that I have challenged semantic elements by using a bloody knife, as this object is usually seen in slasher films such as Saw or Scream. I also portrayed genre conventions through the character's costume, as I dressed the mother in an old-fashioned dress. The dress connotes a supernatural genre, as in many supernatural films they usually use an old-fashioned element to add to the spooky atmosphere. This is a convention I followed from Insidious 2's trailer, as they also use an old-fashioned dress for the supernatural figure which the mother sees. The other props I used in my film I believe are more realistic and modern, as I believe the audience will be able to relate to my film more. I used semantic elements in my trailer which were the plots and themes conventional to my supernatural genre. An example where I have used this is the conventional plot of the equilibrium of a family having a new start. This is indicated through dialogue at the start of the trailer where the mother says,
"This is a new start. Let's leave the past behind us."
I followed this convention similar to Insidious 2, where they also used dialogue of the father saying,
"Nothing's gonna bother us. Not anymore. We have our son back. We are a family again."
I believe this adds narrative and it connotes the supernatural genre. In my trailer, I wanted my characters to be representational of other supernatural horror films. Therefore, I wanted Rosie's character to represent a young, vulnerable teenager. To reinforce this stereotype, I used a long shot of Rosie creeping around the house. I feel this makes her appear vulnerable as there's no one else around and her facial expressions show that she's scared and feels uneasy. I further reinforce this by using a high-angle shot at the end of my trailer of Rosie lying at the bottom of the stairs. This shot connotes her vulnerability and makes her look inferior. I also believe that it creates anxiety and fear for the audience. I also wanted the representation of my location to be conventional. Therefore, I used a scary house in the opening shot of my trailer. I followed this convention from Insidious 2, where we see a shot of the house, which indicates the location of the film. I believe the use of the house represents a supernatural genre, as it is also used in The Conjuring to make the audience feel scared and on edge. When analysing different supernatural trailers, I found that it was conventional for them to use captions. I followed this convention and used several caption shots. My first one reads, "A secret passed down generations," which was similar to the Insidious 2 caption. I believe that by using this tagline, it adds enigma and gives the audience an insight to the narrative. However, the font I used is similar to the typography The Conjuring uses. When editing my trailer, I found that The Conjuring used a linear structure. I challenged this convention as I felt that it seemed more like a story rather than showing the audience the most interesting parts of my film and builds more suspense. Therefore, I followed this convention similar to Insidious 2 by having my trailer as a non-linear structure. When editing my trailer, I challenged conventions similar to the trailers I analysed and used a sequence that reveals the main character covered in blood, using two conventional micro-elements that convent disruption. I also used a strobe lighting effect to disturb the image, but then intercut this with a series of axial cuts that brought the focus onto her face and the mise-en-scène of the blood makeup.